What up, what up, what up? Now joining the conversation. Somewhere Coach Ro is probably throwing up his dubs. We finna get ready and get it started. Y'all know who it is. Let's go. Before we get started, I gotta take 30 seconds, 60 seconds, some kind of seconds, y'all, to apologize to my man's Curmel Moton. Let me tell y'all something. Last week I got so excited telling y'all about this brother and him being the next big thing that I think mid-video I just changed his name to Curmelo. I just made him somebody else. So I wanted to take a few seconds really just to go ahead and shout this brother out one more time because I believe he is the next big thing coming. Y'all be on the lookout for him. I know it's a lot of talk in these internet streets about my man's Tank, and they got sparring footage coming out, and it could be real, could be not. But listen, he's a big deal, and he's the next big thing coming, y'all. Curmel Moton, man. My apologies to the youngster, man. Curmel Moton, man. Not Curmelo. I made him. I don't know what made me change his name, but I wanted to just get that correction in. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get him on up here. Let's see what he's been up to. Let's go ahead and see what he got to tell us about today. It's Coach Ro in the building, y'all. Let's go.
Hello.
What up, Coach?
My background, man.
Yeah, I don't know, Coach. I don't know. You want to fix it on the fly, or you want to ski? You need us to pause for the cause.
Yeah, pause it.
Pause for the cause. That's why we don't go live, because Coach Ro don't. All right, we had to pause for the cause. Look like we got Coach Ro. Now he joining the conversation. He was on the green screen last time. He must have been too busy crip walking or something when that music was on. I know how you love that beat, man. That beat hit him. He forgot to cut his background on.
I'm still working on the Midwest theme music. I want it to be right. It has to be right.
Come on, man. All this music Detroit putting out, man. The 313 is the hottest thing in music right now. Coach Ro's still working on the beat. Let's go.
Well, I want to make sure I grab something, and we're not getting an email later on saying you don't have permission.
Oh no, it's got to be original. The
right.
Sessions beat that is an original beat. That's Beats by B. No social media beat. Shout him out. He ain't gonna hear us though unless he watch YouTube. But it's rare. You got to turn it on for him sometime. But we love you, man. That's Beats by B. He been doing it for a minute.
Sometimes those are the best.
Listen, we got so much to talk about, and technology wasn't letting us be great this morning. I want to go ahead and invite everybody to go ahead and smash that subscribe button, smash the notifications so you know when we talking. We working the kinks out on this thing, y'all. Starting in the new year, we're gonna be live 6 a.m. in the morning. I know it's early, but if you up like us, man, join the conversation. We're gonna have the comments up, and we're gonna be really engaging. So as we continue to figure this thing out, we appreciate y'all sticking with us as we learning and growing through this. But I'm going to start where I always start, y'all. And that is with my dubs. I'm going to start with my dubs. And y'all know I am always honest. You know, I'm honest about where my team stand and all of that. So we got to make our next move the best move. And it's no secret
that your phone is ringing.
I got to pause for the call. This is an emergency. 1 second. Woo! Technology ain't letting us be great, man. My phone ringing. Family, hey, listen. I'm real life, y'all. Now, I don't cut my phone off sometimes. One thing about me, I love the kids, even though I be like, fuck them kids. I love the kids. When the kids call, it don't matter what's going on. I'm coming. And that's one thing I need for kids to know.
She has a big heart, audience. I can vouch for that.
And I don't even have no
literally
kids.
Give her last dollar. She gives her time. She gives her energy. She gives her resources. I can vouch for that on the air. She does feel very strongly about the community and the children in it.
Yeah, my big thing is the kids. So, excuse me, I keep the phone on. If they call, I go. I leave this whole show about it.
Virtual clap for Cess.
Straight up. virtual class for the kids, man, because these kids is dealing with more at their age than I was dealing with at my age. I couldn't imagine walking the walk they walk right now. So,
right.
sometimes you just got to give them a minute. But back to this golden state of mind, man. Listen, we got to make a move. Now, me and Coach Ro was talking, and it was so funny. It cracks me up. And I don't know if it may even just kind of like reassure me that we're on the right path when we talk about something and then a week or a few days later, I see an article or I see somebody else that they paid a big money on TV saying something that already just said, or Coach Roden already just said on the show. So, interestingly enough, Coach Rowe had threw some names out, and y'all know we talk all the time. So, marketing was one of the players that I said I was interested in the Warriors being able to get in. Just warms my heart that as I was in these internet streets the other day, I found the article about acquiring Laurie marketing. Okay. And he was identified as the ideal. Let me say that again for Coach Rowe. Ideal trade target for the Golden State Warriors.
I'm not going to disagree. Go ahead.
It's no secret that we're struggling in the West right now. Okay, we're struggling. Okay, we're struggling and we're trying to figure this thing out. And we got injuries that Chris Paul was back last night. Gary Payton was still in his street clothes. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that too, because I'm tired of the players that aren't superstar or mid-level superstar showing up to the game looking like this. Okay, go ahead.
I'm totally okay with how he's dressed.
All right.
I've never, but y'all noticed that Coach Ro, again, first episode I told y'all Coach Ro got his shirt and tie on. I'm a t-shirt and hat kind of kid. He's got on the perfect clothes to be at the gym to me. But just that's my opinion. But back to marketing. So this guy was the most improved player in 2022, 2023. He was averaging about 25.6. Well, 25 and 6, 25 and 8.6 rebounds. Excuse me, a game. Versatile, 7-footer. That's the most important. Let me say that again. 7-footer. I don't know if we have a lot of those on our team. Y'all know we don't. Versatile 7-footer. His contract is only $17.2 million, y'all. So he's affordable. And we could get marketing and not give up any of my major core. Okay? I could give something like maybe a Kuminga. I don't want to give up Moses.
I'm glad you said it because I was ready to jump all over that stuff.
If y'all been watching Moses being a real grown up in the game.
I was ready to jump all over that.
Moses being a grown up in the game, y'all.
I was waiting on you to say it.
I would have to give up Moses, and I would have to give up Podziemski, and I like old Podziemski, man. Listen, that's some good young talent right there.
Well,
I would have to give up Trace Jackson Davis too, and I like the young fella, and I probably would have to give up a future pick in Corey Joseph.
Now that's where that may be the deal breaker, though. It just says future picks. What do they mean by future picks? I'm certain that they're not insinuating first rounders. I'm not saying marketing is not worth the first round. I would not say that. Again, he was on our list for one of the players that would potentially fit in well with Golden State. But I think that may be the stopgap of this deal happening. That's just and that's an early theory. The picks may be a big deal because if we remember, Golden State for the past 4 years were the only team comparing to Boston Celtics with the number of first round picks that they were just shuffling and kind of getting behind the scenes in all of these trades, shuffling late first rounds, shuffling late second rounds for first rounds. I mean, they were doing that. They were very good at doing that. So I wonder what those future picks would consist of. That's my only apprehension as far as your beloved Golden State Warriors.
So, because I feel like Wiggins is already like that bridge piece between the eras and marketing's age, he would also be a great bridge piece into whatever the Warriors are going to look like as Steph. I don't know if I ever see Steph leaving. I see Steph.
No.
going to the bench if he wants to.
Yes, he won't leave. He'll be one of the few players in the league. I think of Reggie Miller that will stay with the same franchise his entire career.
But I can see Steph even not, moving to not being a starter
Kobe
with the
Bean
Warriors and
Bryant.
still coming off the bench and killing from three when he, just as a threat. But
I do.
I
agree.
I think that Markkanen and Wiggins are a nice stopgap to build around.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I can put some young pieces around them. Now, the trade that you ran, and I sent this trade to Coach Ro, y'all. I sent this article to him and he didn't even respond. But I digress. The person that he was, the person that Coach Ro was
because I know what you're about to say. I know that's why I didn't respond because I know this was like one of those. This is one of those backhanded. Oh, you were on the right path, but I was right. You were wrong. Go ahead.
Pascal Siakam.
I knew it.
Also out there as a potential blockbuster trade for the Golden State Warriors. So somebody else is thinking like it's other people thinking like Coach Ro and thinking that Pascal Siakam would be the forward from the Raptors would be a good fit, but he would require a maximum deal and an extended contract. They probably would give us OG Anunoby too. It could improve us. But I wouldn't want to give up what it would take to be able to get it. And I would have to give up some. Yeah. I would have to give up some of my core to get it.
I didn't respond because I agree with if this is the direction the Golden State is going, because like you said, they're going to be free agents in the offseason. You would have to sign them to max money. Somebody's going to get them max money. Siakam. I don't know about Anunoby, but somebody's going to get Pascal Siakam a max contract. I just hope it's not my beloved.
And then my other question is though too, is like when you're Pascal Siakam and the country love you, not the city, the country love you. Do you want to leave for real?
I don't think so. But this goes back.
He's got to be like the ultimate superstar.
Yeah, but Cess, you brought this up before, and it didn't. It took you to kind of give some collective criticism to him for me to go back and look at some things about Siakam. He really has not been it. He did not step into the shoes of Kawhi Leonard when he left. And I think everybody, myself included, expected that team not to continue on championship status, but they expected them to at least stay afloat and be relevant. And they didn't, because they didn't have a true alpha on that team, which everybody just assumed to be Pascal Siakam. That's why I said, not only is he not a Batman, he's not a Robin right now, he's not even a Nightwing. And then I don't think you were referring to him when you said Orko. But one other thing, too, I know we got to move on from this segment. We have to update the picture because Wiggins got a haircut. I digress.
I was going to say that. I was going to say, did you notice? I started to call you last night, but it was late. And I know you go to bed about 8:30. So I didn't know if you
I was up actually watching that game, and I saw him with the haircut.
I didn't know if you seen Wiggins, but since I said his haircut don't match his energy, Wiggs got cleaned up. He went home and got cleaned up, and he looked more like Wiggs, and he's coming into himself. Interestingly enough, I do a lot of listening to the NBA radio on my SiriusXM satellite account, and was it the Justin? Was it JT's show?
Pick us up, SiriusXM. We love it.
Was it Termini and them? But I want to say it was the coach, Eddie. What's his name? Is it Eddie Johnson?
Eddie Johnson or Eddie? Yeah, it had to be Eddie Johnson. I was thinking Eddie Curry at first.
Nah.
I listened to that when I was on the road.
I think that's Eddie Johnson.
Yeah, when I was on the road for that thing for work, I was they have an entertaining show. I know who you're talking about.
So it was interesting because they were talking about Andrew Wiggins, and the guy was saying, I want to say that's Termini that he's with, but forgive me if I said the names wrong, guys, because I listen to a lot of the shows and they run together. But basically, one of the hosts was saying like Wiggins has to do better. What happened to this kid? He fell off. And coach was like, hey, back up off him. Sometimes people go through some things and let that young man breathe. And I will talk to you about what's going on with him in the commercial. And it just made me think, wow, we might have really been on to something when we were saying, hey, let's handle this guy with kid gloves, because we really still don't know what the situation was last season, right?
Yeah.
And they were saying basically the same thing that I had said. If you're going to have to miss time, let's get that out the way now. And let's not get to February and find out we're still dealing with some stuff. But as he was saying, hey, when we get the break, I'll tell you a few things about him. The host is pushing back like, no, tell us on the air live. A caller called in. It was like, tell us, we want to hear it live, whatever's going on with him. And I just, some things are, it's still a brotherhood, and there's still some unwritten rules. So I respect that the coach was like, hey, I'm going to talk to you about him off the air. But it just gave a little bit more, I guess, substance to what we were saying, as far as there was something there with him, and just give him a minute to be able to kind of bounce back. And the coach was like, hey, some stuff happened that just knock you on your ass, and you need a minute to be able to come back from it. So I did want to put that out there. We had a bad loss to the Clippers, but Podziemski, man, this kid got down, man. He got down. I like the defense that he played. They threw him in the fire, man. They told him to guard Kawhi.
Yeah,
it's hard to deal with the club, but it's no back down in that kid, and I like him. That's why one of the reasons I would hate to see him go. But just it's an up and down week for my Dubs, man.
But wait a minute though. In all fairness to your Dubs, you all know we're fair here. Even though I'm not a fan of Golden State, I'm gonna be fair. You're talking about a Clippers team that's rounded into shape. They're starting to look and play like the team people thought that they would look like. They're at 500 now, and I know this is about Golden State, so we'll talk about that in another segment. But they're rounding into shape. I'll leave that there.
I don't know if they're. I don't know if they're rounding into shape yet.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting to see. Right? I'm like, it looks like they're rounding into shape.
I'm watching the flow of the games though from when they first started.
Are Russell and James really gonna make it?
I think they are. I think it's more James. Russell has found it. I think that James has to figure it out.
Russell's an interesting character. He's a show on his own.
He is. But see, and that's the part that kind of stings. As you know, again, I don't hide the fact that to the audience, I'm a huge Russell Westbrook. He's one of my favorite players in the league. I've always liked him anywhere he went. And I think that he gets a bad rap. Again, that's another segment. We'll have to talk about that in another show. But I have a lot to say about that. And I might even mute Cess when I start talking about him because I want to get my thoughts out.
He can have the stage, y'all. I don't have much to say.
See,
there. I haven't followed Russ a lot. I just haven't followed him a lot. He's not. It's what I like about Russ is probably the stuff that irritates people. And I like that Russ don't take no stuff off nobody in the crowd. You're not gonna disrespect my family. You're not gonna disrespect me. There is a line. You will not cross it.
Hey, Cess,
man, gotta live by a code.
Real quick, Cess. Getting back to the Dubs, real quick. I don't remember why didn't Wiggins play in that game?
I don't know if they told us.
Okay, so see that I just mentioned that because that gets back to what EJ was saying. Like we really don't know, and then all of a sudden he pops up with a haircut. Like it's almost like, and I'm not in the audience. We're not saying that to be funny. Like seriously, there may be some serious things that was going on. Like this game right here, I don't remember any press release or anything saying that he wasn't playing. He just wasn't there.
Yeah, just all of a sudden Wiggins wasn't there. I don't remember him rolling his ankle or but I have some days probably where they expect me at work and I ain't, so what can I say?
And by the way, in that game to the Clippers, Kuminga hit 6. I digress. 2 rebounds.
Since you stayed up and watched the game last night, tell me about Kuminga last night.
Kuminga had a very good game.
Yeah, don't digress. Keep it going.
Oh, he had a very good game. Let me get my. I want to make sure I'm accurate and get a young man. I was actually just looking at that.
And I felt like he was benched in the first half because of that 6 he got in the first game, in the game you're talking about. Because he didn't even play. I don't think he touched the floor in the first half.
Well, what was impressive about
Last
Kuminga?
night.
Yeah, last night what was impressive about Kuminga? He had 13 points, but he only played 17 minutes. That's the production that you need from Kuminga. He needs to be instant energy off the
And
bench.
they were 13 important points because he played
Right.
important minutes
Towards the end of the
because he
third
played
quarter. Yep. When they started making
in
their run. Yep.
in the comeback. And so
Mm-hmm.
that was really good to see.
But one other thing, I want to just look at something real quick. This is how the Warriors. This is their formula. I'm just going to call out some numbers. Unlike most of the teams we talk about, 31, 27, 16, 34, 27, 26, 21, 20, 20, 17. Those are the minutes played by individual players. It's close to being very, very, very balanced. Interestingly, I think because of the matchup and some fouls, Looney only played 16 minutes yesterday. But I think that was because, the Blazers are going to run. And he started off pretty, I think he got in foul trouble early. But when those minutes start leveling out like that, that's when you see the Warriors being very, very deadly. Getting back to the trade, if marketing were to go, they would arguably, as the article stated, have one of the best starting fives in the NBA at marketing. They would. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say this. Nobody paying attention to Mr. Big Shot up there in that
Mm-hmm.
West Coast corner. But y'all
Mm-hmm.
give him a minute. He gonna figure this
Mm-hmm.
thing out.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna figure this thing out. He got some nice young talent up there. Uh, Portland has always been a cool city. I've never been there. Just a cool city from what I've heard. Uh, Drove through on the way up the coast to Seattle, but um, y'all give Mr. Big Shot a chance.
Well, and I'm glad you said that because one of his main building block just returned, which is Simons. He just returned. He
Yeah,
had a
Simon's got a
broken.
nice game.
Yeah, he had a broken hand or something. He just returned. I think he's been back 3 games now, and they had already started figuring out some things before he came back. So yeah, I agree.
You let Robert Williams figure out this knee. If his knee
Mm-hmm.
can get healthy, he's something
Mm-hmm.
else. That boy at Louisiana's something else.
Then
He's
you
one
got
of my
Scoop.
favorites.
Yep, you got Scoot out there.
Scoop, man. I like Scoop put his glasses on and go right to work. He mean
Mm-hmm.
business. It's
Mm-hmm.
like he look like Clark Kent or something out there, and he just go Superman on him.
The only problem, again, no disrespect, is the Aiden experiment is still in progress. Once again, I was watching a Portland game the other day. I forgot he was playing in the audience. I'm not being funny when I say that. I literally forgot he was out there until they said Aiden. I said, "Oh,
But Aiden may be out there because the gentleman that I just was talking about is still figuring out that knee. I don't know that he starts over Robert Williams.
oh, he's definitely starting with Robert Williams because they signed him to that big money. He's starting.
Listen,
He's
well,
starting,
listen,
and the
we gonna
Portland's going to realize they're stuck
listen.
with him.
Here's the thing: they may or may not be stuck with him. But one thing about Mr. Big Shot, you got to show up. One thing about Mr. Big Shot and being from the area that he's from, you got to be accountable and responsible, right, to what you're supposed to do on the court.
On both
And
ends of the floor.
I believe that and Mr. Big Shot, Chauncey Billups is what I'm talking about. For those of y'all who may not know, um, I believe he's the type of guy that would just hold a guy accountable. And you're gonna sit over there and they're gonna pay you this money or figure out how to do something with you, but I'm not gonna let you jeopardize the product that I'm putting on the floor when he gets to a point where he has all of the horses that he wants in that race. And I just don't know that Aiden is gonna fit there. But we digress. We
Yeah,
digress.
yeah. Golden
We'll
State. I think Golden State, that trade puts them right back in the mix. And we'll see what happens there. We'll see what
now.
happens.
This is a topic that I went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Do I want to talk about it? Do we want to talk about it? People that talked it to death. It's Thursday now, but I had to, give a chance to get Coach Ro's opinion, but also just our opinion in general because it was such big news, and we don't even usually talk football, let alone college football. But there's no crying in football, y'all. Listen. but my spidey senses is tingling. Okay, there's no crying in football, but my spidey senses is tingling. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say now. Uh, y'all heard Coach Sanders, Coach Prime, say if old Saint Nick was the coach of FSU would have been in this here thing. So I've been back and forth on this thing, y'all. From just a pure competitive athlete standpoint, if I go to work all season and do everything that you asked me to be able to be considered to compete for the natty, uh, with all due respect, I should be able to compete for that natty. From a pure athlete, love of the game standpoint. From a business standpoint, I think that one of the things that gets, I think, overlooked or assumed here is that these businesses and these companies and this money that are putting on these bowls, that they give a damn about any of these schools. They don't. They don't care who's there. It's about who can put the most butts in the seats, and it's about a bottom line dollar for them. And because me and Coach Ro joke about stuff like, "Oh, it's a trash game on Thursday night. I'll find something else to do." Nobody wants to have a trash game on New Year's Day. So I understand the committee's desire to try to put some smash mouth games together, some memorable games together. Uh, it takes away from the natural competition of it all after you work so hard all season. But for them, it's about the dollar. I would be pissed off if the Warriors or if they win all season and and, and one of the star players gets hurt and they like, you was gonna be in the playoffs, but since your nickel back is down or whatever, you can't be in the championship. You can't compete for this championship anymore. Then I'd be pissed off as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
But the business person in me says, get the money, big money.
Mm-hmm.
Get the money, big money. And quite frankly, earlier this year, they were talking about the fact that if Dion had got to 6 wins, what bowl would he be invited to? Because they invite you to the bowl, right? Where would he be invited?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's not at the playoff level, but it just speaks to me to how much it's about the bottom line for these people that sponsor these bowls and these championships, uh, than it is about the competition. And
Okay, so let me say this. I agree wholeheartedly with your analysis as far as like this being a business. As I stated off camera, to me it's an oxymoron. It's disingenuous to the advertisement of what college football is all about, which is about rewarding those with the best performance. Does it surprise anybody that Alabama has the most appearances in the college playoff with 8? Here's another historical point. Florida State is the first undefeated team from a major Power 5 conference to be excluded from the playoffs. Now, this playoff system started in 2014.
here you go.
How do you exclude an undefeated Florida State team from a Power 5 conference from the playoff?
Hey man, like I said off camera the other day, it's a Power 4 plus Notre Dame, and it's only four schools going to the dance. So you showed up for a game of musical chairs, and somebody knew that they was gonna fall on their ass. Y'all knew that coming into this. If you didn't want to play, if you didn't want to walk around and know that one of y'all wasn't gonna be able to sit down, then you shouldn't have gotten the game. You come into that knowing it's only 4 spots, and it's 5 of y'all that could be undefeated at the end of this thing. Is it flawed? For sure. This is the last year that it's going to be like this. They're going to what, 12 teams next year? and they won't, and it'll be 12 teams, and we'll be crying about 4 that could have been here, and why it's not 16. It'll never be perfect because it's not about the natural competition of this. It's about the money. But
I
you
agree
can't
with
play
that.
musical chairs.
But I think what made it worse, this is what made it worse, when the committee came out with the reason as to why Florida State didn't make it, saying they're not the same team. Wait a minute. We got an Alabama team that won on literally, no pun intended, a last-second play to beat a team this year. Let's just call it what it is. Auburn was not good this year. I know it was a rivalry game, but they won that one by literally the last second of the game. And you hold Florida State, who beat everybody in front of them. With the exception of the last couple games, I think they had started out to get a little slow, win their conference championship, and they're left out. As I stated before, I think that the only reason Texas is in is because the committee knew they had to let them in because they beat, wait for it, they beat Alabama. That's the only reason Texas is in. If Texas would have beat any other team, this is what would have happened. Texas would not be in the Final Four, and Florida State would be in the Final Four. If Texas did not beat Alabama, Florida State would be in the college playoffs. That, in my opinion, is a fact.
So you don't think that Alabama is in there because they beat Georgia ass? If Texas is in there because they beat Alabama, Alabama is in there because they beat Georgia. You from Michigan, man. You done play King of the Mountain. It don't matter. Listen, if I'm
I can say yes to that. I can say yes to that. But this is one of those unique situations where even though that happened, you got to reward the undefeated team. I'm sorry. You have to reward the undefeated team. They're not Tulane. No disrespect to Tulane. Tune into the show. They're not a Miami, Ohio. No disrespect to Miami, Ohio. They're a top 5, a Power 5 conference, and they went undefeated and won their conference. You have to look at this formula and say, okay, hey, Alabama, I know you beat Georgia. That's fine, but guess what? You have one loss. So now the sad part about this is I think that the odd person out probably would have been Texas. But again, the reason why they didn't leave them out is because they said, you know what? We'd rather deal with the scrutiny and the pushback from Florida State as opposed to now this is getting back into your theory about this. You have heavy philanthropy alumni from Texas that would have said, are you kidding me? You're going to leave our money out of this endeavor and we won our conference and beat Alabama? I think that if Texas did not beat Alabama, Florida State would be in the playoffs. Now I know that's a weak hypothetical to come off of, but I'm trying to play with the numbers, like everybody else.
And if Alabama didn't beat Georgia, they wouldn't be in there.
So let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that undefeated teams from Power 5 should be in the playoff? Yes or no? Here we go.
So if it's just purely about schedule, for sure. But because this committee came out and said it's not just record, it's strength of schedule, it's all of these other criteria, and that they let us know it's pretty subjective from the beginning. I don't know what everybody's been out of shape for. It's a flawed system. So another thing too, I think is important is that I feel like this is a great chance for young people to learn that life's not fair. I get so tired of hearing adults talking about fair. If your grown ass shouldn't even use the word fair. Excuse my language, Coach Ro, but fair. This is a good time. This is a great lesson for young people. Sometimes you do your absolute best, and it ain't good enough. You're not the last one standing at the dance.
So how about this?
Everybody don't get a certificate.
So, and this is general questions. I think we talked about it. I don't know. Have you heard anything? Did Florida State accept their game yet? Have they accepted it?
Florida State playing Georgia, ain't they?
Let me make sure.
I thought Florida State was going to play Georgia, and they were saying everybody from Georgia wasn't going to show up, and Florida State was going to show up with a point to prove. I mean,
yeah.
This made me think about
Georgia playing Florida State.
This made me think about Isaiah Thomas and how many times Isaiah. When I say Isaiah Thomas, I mean the original Isaiah Thomas. I'm talking about Zeke. Because I know, no disrespect, there's another Isaiah Thomas that was also a point guard in the league, and he did his thing in his own way. But I'm talking about Zeke, and so I think Zeke was like one of the best players in college and was supposed to go play in the Olympics, right? But he didn't get to go because that year we didn't go. Damn, he did everything that he was supposed to do, but he didn't get to, right? Then it came back around where they did this dream team thing. And I think I heard Isaiah himself say he had done everything he needed to do to meet the criteria to be on that team. But he wasn't on the team. And I know people say that Michael Jordan didn't like him, and he had his thing with Scottie Pippen, and he had his thing with Karl Malone, and right. I heard Michael Jordan say that if Isaiah had been on the team, the chemistry would have been different. Now, this is a team that, as set up and went to the Olympics, didn't call a timeout in the entire Olympics, right? Understand what I'm saying? Chuck Daly didn't call a timeout. From tip off to the to the gold medal, there were no timeouts called. So the chemistry and the ability of this team to play together was phenomenal. Would Isaiah have made them better?
Wow.
Because Michael said that the chemistry would have been different on the team if he'd have been there. He had an issue. They said Zeke had an issue with Karl Malone. He had an issue with Scottie Pippen. He had an issue with Magic. He had his thing with Michael. So they didn't pick Zeke, but he was damn qualified.
I don't think he would have made him. I think he would have made him much better. I think that would have played out. Cess, you played the game on a higher level than I've ever played, and you know that talent wins out. And when you get that type of talent on the floor, that would have worked out. I thought it was interesting.
I think we would have saw Draymond, Jordan Poole earlier if Zeke had been on the team. You know,
you know what I think we would have saw? I think we would have saw Zeke getting.
I think it'd have been some fisticuffs. They'd have got to fighting in the locker room.
I think Zeke would have got very few minutes, and he would have voiced his opinion about it, and they probably would have sent him home. It would have been the first time in USA basketball history where they said, "Okay, well, you can just go home," or they would have said, "Isaiah's not on the bench." That's what I think would have happened, because Jordan probably would have said, "I'm not playing with him. I'm not starting with him."
And I don't think that it would have been Michael Jordan.
No. I'm just saying,
because one of the things about Michael Jordan is he's about winning. Now, he didn't like he himself said that he feels like Zeke is an asshole. That's his words. But he also said that behind Magic Johnson, he feels like Isaiah Thomas is the best point guard to play the game, the second best point guard to play the game. Tremendous respect for his game. So, man, I don't like you, but if I gotta lace it up with somebody, at least I know.
How do you think Isaiah felt when Chuck Daly didn't even vouch for him to be on the team? But that's a whole nother topic. This is interesting to me.
But, I mean, yeah, and we need to start doing some Pistons discussions. But I think that, especially for that
that's
era,
what we doing, Cess?
I think for that era,
really, Cess?
Yeah, for real. From the Bad Boys on up, man, it's a lot to talk about there. But I mean,
historically, this year I've been strategically quiet on my Pistons.
No.
Next show, I'm gonna talk about them though.
I go back to Kelly. I go back to Kelly Tripucka. But I'm saying that I'll let it go because I'm gonna go
Yeah.
too deep.
So look,
I'm
here's
gonna
the
go too deep.
thing.
I'm gonna go too deep.
We're
I
gonna
just feel
agree.
like
We're gonna
it
agree to
was
this.
it's a good lesson for young people to learn.
We're gonna agree to disagree on this topic because I just don't see the fairness. And and let's recognize that Cess is drinking a body armor this morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't see the fairness and Florida State being left out. I mean, I get it; it's a very unique situation. The committee this is a tough one. I think and you know what? Do we know what people aren't really talking about, Seth? The years the committee had it much easier and still got it wrong, and now they legitimately have a situation where it's like nobody's riding with the committee because it's like you can't figure it out. Remember when they had Condoleezza Rice on it?
Yeah,
I do. Remember that?
Let me say this. You know what else? You know why I don't think I'm taking this so hard as other people? Because I'm an avid boxing fan. Do you know how many fights I've seen that the judges have got wrong?
Okay.
Oh man.
I mean that's a good pull. That's a good pull because I was going to say that's probably one of the only comparisons I could say.
Because the voting's not transparent, although they're trying to make it more transparent in boxing now, and it's subjective. It's what did you see? I don't know. Maybe you thought he got hit, but I thought it was a block. What do I like more? Do I like the action? Do I like the rock'em sock'em? Do I like the shoulder roll? And is it the sweet science? So because I watch so much boxing and I done seen people get robbed and I didn't ended the fight and I didn't call somebody as the winner and the referee didn't raise somebody else's hand, I just know it's not fair. And you live to play another day. And the next time I see you, I'm making a list. I'm that type of player when I see you, and it could be years from now. You might.
Well, and that's the thing, though. It's like so. Committee, stop saying that it's a science and it's a formula when it is subjective. If they came out and said that, I think everybody would back off.
Well, I think what happened here is that it was a formula and it was a science until they used their whole formula and they still didn't have an answer. And then they still had that remainder. It didn't divide clear. It didn't divide clean. I'm sorry.
That's true.
You
and
guys
they had
aren't.
To figure out a way.
That might have been a little nerdy for y'all because it was a remainder. It was a little remainder left. Everybody might not understand that, but
you're right.
Then it became like, well, what do we do? And that's when they got to talking about the subjectiveness of well, would it be the same type of game with a backup quarterback versus this quarterback? Could you, it was like nothing else to talk about. So they, they're figuring it out. But
I agree. I think there was, you're right. I think there was a conversation, a war room, so to speak. They put all of their numbers on the table. They had all of the stuff. They had all of this stuff going down. And then I think, like you said, it turned into, okay, we have to come out with a reason as to why this team is not in as opposed to the teams that are in. I agree because all the energy was put towards, well, this is why off the hypothetical. I get it.
So I know we only got a few more minutes here with the coach. A lot of stuff I wanted to talk about today, but I can't let you get away without talking about this here because I just want to know who you think gonna get this here cup, man? Who gonna get the cup? Because this in-season tournament is turning into quite a thing. It's been fun. Interesting enough, it highlighted for me that we don't have a real up-and-coming American-born superstar in the league right now. After Steph and KD and these guys, we talking about the Giannis's and the Luka Doncic's and the Joel Embiid's, Wembanyama's. I think that was the goal of Davis' turn. So it's good to see him going after that global money. I think it gives people the misconception that the NBA isn't as smart as the NFL. I just think they're playing for different money. But this cup and this championship and this March Madness type tournament really gives a chance to showcase some of the younger talent that's in the league. um, and give you a chance to get to know some of these other guys. Because Haliburton, baller.
He is.
If you didn't know, meeting, there you
He
go.
is. He
Brandon
is.
Ingram, they talk
Yes.
they talk about Zion, okay, and Zion is who he is. And they talk about CJ. There's a guy down there in New Orleans, Bi, that's been loyal to the soil down there, really doing his thing for a minute down there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a baller.
Mm-hmm.
If I could get him in a Warrior uniform, I'd take him in a heartbeat because he don't do nothing but play basketball. I love his style. So tell me, what are you thinking about this in-season tournament? How's it going? How you liking it?
I think it's some of the most exciting basketball that I've seen in the month of November. I want to say since I've been, well, not since I've been, but in a long time. And we're seeing, like you mentioned, the younger generation. I think they're taking this a little more serious than some of the seasoned players. But you have teams like the Lakers who have some of the seasoned veterans, and the Milwaukee. They're using this. I've watched just about all of these knockout games and even the games leading up to it. And I think that what I'm noticing even about the style of play is that the senior players are kind of letting the younger players take the lead. It's almost like a lesson to say, hey, look, this is a taste of what you might get if we play for a real NBA championship, not taking anything away from the in-season tournament. But I like it. I think that right now, so the Final Four is Lakers versus Pelicans, Milwaukee versus Indiana. The
I
way
think
that
Lakers are an outlier though. I think LeBron is trying to drag his team to that trophy because that's something that he could put on his shelf and say MJ don't got.
yeah, and I'm gonna say right now, I think out of all of the teams, I would say the way they've played, I would say that right now the Lakers would be the favorite to win it all.
I
They
wish
have
that they I
they've
wish
been
that
they've
they
been
wouldn't.
playing the most complete basketball out of all of the teams. Now here's the thing: the scary part is Milwaukee's starting to figure it out. They're starting to figure it out. Um, Now again, against no disrespect to the New York Knicks, is that really like groundbreaking that they beat them? I mean, but they did beat them bad. But I think the wild card in all of this, I would not be surprised if Indiana marched through and won this whole thing because they have no fear right now. Their team is young, they run and gun, and they literally have that oxymoron of they could run you out of the gym. What I like about the way Indiana's been playing is they've shown that they can grind games out or they can run you off the floor. They're learning on the fly. They're learning with a very young team. Um, they're not afraid of the moment. Like Haliburton and I forgot the young man's name.
Listen, they playing Indiana. Is this the 20-year anniversary of them burning Reggie Miller house down? They will burn your house down, Indiana, if you don't bring some win in there. Okay, the heat is on.
So this
The heat
game is
is on.
tonight. This game
And
is today,
this game is tonight. Yeah.
tonight. And they're now the only thing they're playing. Now here's the thing too. What's interesting is they're playing in Milwaukee, which does not mean the thing to Indiana. Indiana
No,
has been playing lights out, and they're a hard matchup for a lot of people. They're a hard matchup.
I just wonder if Milwaukee and more so LA, especially LA, more LeBron. I just I think he's burning a lot of minutes and a lot of miles on his legs to get to
Mathurin.
this year.
Mathurin is the guy I was thinking of. He's
Oh yeah,
been
yeah, yeah,
playing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's been playing lights out. And then I have to, it's funny because even my son laughed at me because I'm watching the game. And he's like, "Daddy, why you keep singing that song?" You know the song I was singing? My buddy, my buddy. Wherever
Boy,
I go, he goes.
nah,
My buddy, my
listen.
buddy and me, Buddy Hield. That's right, Buddy Hield.
Yeah, Buddy been balling, but they just got some young guns there. They ain't
My
got nothing to
buddy,
lose.
my buddy.
These guys don't have nothing to lose, and I think ultimately I mean, I don't know. If they win a championship, do you think they can go to the playoffs? Do you think they make the playoffs? Even if it wasn't an in-season tournament, if
Indiana.
Indiana, yeah, if they
I
keep this
think.
up, do you
I
think they
think.
make the playoffs? Are they
I
in the
think.
playoffs?
I think Indiana.
I think they can be in the playoffs.
I
They
think
can
Indiana
definitely be a.
has the ability to be a top 3 seed in the East. The way they're playing.
I don't know, and I don't know if that's sustainable. And I know there's injuries and stuff in the East. I would, I would
But
definitely
looking
see
at their
them.
lineup though, Seth, like they literally when they when they figure it out, they're gonna be 10 deep. I
Yeah,
mean,
I like Indiana.
they got Bruce Brown over there. I didn't forget about him. I've been watching him. Miles Turner's been playing out of his mind. I forgot about him for a little while.
I
And then
expect,
they have some upcomers that are like
I expect people to make a run at some of them placers before the trade deadline.
they have
I
no
expect.
reason to make a move though. There's no reason
I
for them
think
to
no,
make a
no, no.
move.
I think the teams will be trying to pick some of that talent up out
No,
of
I
there.
get it, but I don't think they're gonna bite. They have too
Um,
much to lose.
and then like I said, yeah, I can see that.
I think this is
We'll,
great
we'll,
basketball. I don't know which Milwaukee team is gonna show up tonight. I think they are figuring it out. But I am locked in to Haliburton v. Dame Lillard. Dame time Lillard. Okay, Lillard. This is
they
why we
playing
gave
him.
you the money.
They playing Vegas tonight, don't they?
Yeah, they play in Vegas. Yeah, you're right. They
Yeah,
play in
yeah,
Vegas.
they're in Vegas.
But Dame time. This is why they gave you the big bucks because let me tell you something. Haliburton is he's going to be relentless. It can go real good or real bad for Haliburton. He knows
Well,
what
we
he's
can already
up
find out. We
against.
can already find out.
Yep.
See, the lights is turned up. Stage getting
Mm-hmm.
brighter, getting hot now. We
That's
in
right.
Vegas.
That's
We in
right.
City now.
That's right.
So
But
we can already find out. We can find
prediction.
out. And
I'll say this: if you had to paint me in a corner, I'm going to say Lakers v. Milwaukee. Lakers win it all. But I'm not going to discount Indiana shocking everybody and walking through. I like the Pelicans, but I do not think I'm gonna say this, hiding behind I do not think that the Pelicans have a chance to beat the Lakers, especially
I
with the
think
controversy when they beat the Suns. We didn't even talk about that, by the way.
I
The
think Brandon
timeout.
Ingram. I think Brandon Ingram coming with a chip on his shoulder. I think he coming with a chip on his shoulder. And LeBron, you could have played with me, and you sent me away from here. And I'm a heck of a ball player.
That's a great point.
What if you would have had me all these years? And for LeBron, it's just, I know and I know people say he's chasing stats and accolades or whatever. When you've been in the league long as he has, what else is it to do? And put this trophy on your shelf, man, if that's what you want. But I just feel like he's burned up too much gas. They done burned up too much gas getting to this tournament here, and I'm worried about LeBron at the end of the season because I just don't know. But maybe they win it and it fires the team up, and they go on a run here where LeBron can coast a little bit for a little while. But I just worry about him being able to stay healthy. I'm not a LeBron fan, uh, but the game is definitely more interesting with him around. Uh, it's more the debate. It's a lot more LeBron lovers out there, so I don't want to see him get hurt, and I would hate to see him waste a championship run on an in-season tournament championship. So, uh, but definitely gonna be tuned in tonight. I got my popcorn, and I would like to see New Orleans, Indiana myself. We're gonna see Milwaukee.
It'd be nice.
Come June, we're gonna see
Yep, that's
LA.
true.
Come April, at least May, play in tournament kind of stuff. If they're not further up there, just in the playoffs. So I'd like to see some of these other young teams that maybe won't be there. Uh, but we'll see. Uh, but definitely let Coach get on out of here.
All right.
We definitely
Great.
got some stuff to be talking about. We'll be talking about these female freshman phenoms next week, and we'll be doing a little bit more kind of on take some time and look at what's going on with the tournament, what happened. But until next time, stay tuned. Talk soon. We out.
See you later. Have a good one, y'all.